It's Perp back with another video, and I just got done watching Black Mirror Season 6, and last time we got some Black Mirror content, I think it was Bandersnatch, that interactive, movie thing. But I've always enjoyed, Black Mirror. There hasn't been a season that has been super long. They keep it relatively short, like 4 or 5 episodes. This case, with this season, we got 5 episodes. I'm gonna give you my quick thoughts on each individual story, and as that's going along, you can kind of see where I rank each episode. I think each episode was really dope, but starting off with the first episode, Joan Is Awful. This is kind of like a multiversal streaming service kind of theme where you have Annie Murphy's character. She is kind of put into the situation where it's almost feels like a Truman Show type of scenario, and she gets to watching Stream Barrier, where the hell the stream service is, and we also get kind of like some callbacks to like Bandersnatch in another episode of Black Mirror, and I really like that. And there's this streaming service that kind of mirrors her life and everything she does in it, and it kind of just pretty much blows up her whole entire world, where it's just like, man, I'm not even the real one. And I just like that whole multiversal type of streaming service thing that they got going on. And it definitely seems like an allegory to like what's going on with the like writer's strike and people just being kind of worrisome of just the streaming services and how that's going to look into the future. But yeah, that's my thoughts on the first episode. Now going off to the second episode, Loch Henry, where this takes place in like this small countryside part of Ireland, which was really dope. You have this guy Davis, Davis. He takes his new girlfriend out to meet his mom. Pia is really interesting. And when I first saw this, I was like, I don't know if she's giving her, like this dude's mom's giving her a weird look because she's black or she has no eyebrows. It could be both, but this was interesting too because they went here to start to film a documentary, but then they heard about a story that's going around town, and they want to base the documentary based on that, and it turns into like this murder mystery, and the reveals have something to do with some family past. So episode 3, Beyond the Sea, this was the longest one, with it being like an hour and 20 minutes. So it's pretty much like a movie, like a little mini movie. It has Aaron Paul and whatnot, and Josh Hartnett and Kate Marr, where they're out in space, but yet they have these like, how can I explain it? But they have these kind of matrices or certain realms or these things that they can go into that kind of mimic their actual lives because they're on this mission out in space. So this is to kind of keep their mind at ease. But Josh Hartnett's character, David, he ends up kind of getting his shit hacked or something like that, and his family ends up getting murdered. And it very reminded me of some like Charles Manson type of thing. That's where they're kind of going for, because the style of it was like this like 70s type of aesthetic. And you had on the other side of things Aaron Paul's character Cliff, and everything seems to be going good and really smooth, but what ends up happening is David just is in this whole entire funk where he misses his family. And now his wife, Mara J's character, she says, like, why don't you just let him use your link? Because maybe he just needs to kind of get some fresh air. But then one thing leads to another. Jealousy ensues where David's like, yo, you have everything. You have everything. I have nothing. And that whole twist was really dope. I just liked how it felt like a whole movie and whatnot. Up until that point, that was my favorite episode until we get to episode 4, Macy's Day, and this was the shortest one, but it was definitely the story with the craziest twist, I would have to say, where you have Zazie Beetz. She's kind of like this paparazzi photographer, and you know what I'm saying, and then we see the perspective of the celebrity Macy Day and what she's going through, and she ends up taking some shrooms and driving. I don't know why the fuck you would do that, but then what ends up happening is Maisie ends up hitting something. We don't see what that is. I'm not going to spoil what that is because that twist was really crazy, and now she's been kind of going dark and nobody can find her. And what brings Zazie Beetz' character Bo back into just getting into photography is her boss pretty much says that anybody can get a picture of her. It's $30K. Anything more, it'd just be $40K or something like that. But what ends up getting revealed is so crazy. I was not expecting, and I see that being a whole theme throughout this whole entire season, is they kind of dip more into the horror aspect in a lot of these stories, and I really liked it, and I really love that twist. Last but not least, you have the last episode called Demons 79, and I really like the poster. It kind of is reminiscent of The Shining in a lot of ways, where you see a lot of those alternate covers and that yellow and stuff like that. But this is like a British horror comedy where it follows our main character, Nita, and she has to deal with a lot of like prejudice and a lot of racism and a lot of assholes in her work space. She works at this shoe spot, and I like that she always has like these little daydreams of wanting to just bash people's head in and stuff like that, which now she kind of gets her wish to be able to do so, where she pretty much spills blood on this talisman, and this demon comes out like a genie almost, but not to give you 3 wishes, to tell her like pretty much you have 3 sacrifices that you have to complete, or else the world's going to end. And I like how creative this gets. They even have like kind of like a little film grain on this in particular episode, and just how the demon shows what a person's about to do or what a person has done, and kind of pushing her more and more to like kill more people. And the resolution to that was really interesting. I think each episode has a relatively dark ending, and I really appreciate that. And they do a lot of creative things with each episode. What I like about this season the most is them dipping more into a lot of horror themes throughout each episode. I want to see them do more interactive movies in between seasons. That'd be really cool, but I know it takes a lot of time, and you know, they get a lot of big stars. There's a lot of interesting names that popped up in here, like Michael Cera. I didn't expect him to pop up at all in a Netflix series. If you have seen this movie, this season, let me know how you guys feel about it. What would you rank the episodes? But yeah, that's my ranking and how I thought about this season. I thought it was really dope. Until next time, I'll see you on the next one.